Guys, welcome back to the Fell Kingdoms podcast, episode 3. We're already on episode 3. Today, time for a little announcement first, I guess. So remember, August 6th, we're actually going to be live streaming it. I just figured out how to live stream on my laptop. So we're actually, I know, right? We're actually going to be live streaming the Josh and Rachel Rasmussen interview on Facebook and YouTube and whatever else I can get my hands on in terms of social media, which is not a lot. I know you have like Twitch, you have what else? Anyway, well, those are the main ones that we know about. We're not on Twitter, so we'll keep you guys posted on that. We'll send out notifications and whatnot whenever it happens, and it'll also be posted on the Fell Kingdoms YouTube channel. So today, we're going to be talking about relationships, our thoughts on the new generation in terms of what do they call it? Generation Z? No, not Z. No, generation. What are they called?
Don't ask.
No, they probably are Gen Zers, I think. Yeah, because Gen Xers is like our parents, and Gen Z, I don't even know. But we're going to be talking about the next generation, the generation after the millennials. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So in terms of relationships, what exactly did you have in mind?
Well, I originally thought of this topic because I heard of some things at work, and I don't know, like, because I was put into a situation where I was really like, okay, I'm a man of the faith, and I know I'm supposed to be out here spreading the good word and so on and so forth, but this person, like, one day I just came to work. I did not expect it from this person at all. Like, so she came to me and she said, hey, I wanted to run something by you. I wanted your opinion on some things and just let me know, if I'm crazy or whatever. But I was like, oh God, you're doing it again. Cause like, I've been helping people at work a lot lately and like giving good advice and so on. And like this person, I did not expect it from, cause it was just like, I don't know. She just didn't give off that vibe. Like she wanted help, and so on. Like she seemed pretty strong by herself. You don't want to pry into somebody else's life, but I don't know. So yeah, when she came to me, I was just like, wow, God, you're really starting to put the people in my life to do your will, obviously. So I was like, sure, yeah, come on, hand it, throw it on me, what you got. And I'm not gonna say names for certain reasons, but this woman said that long story short, that she is engaged. Okay. She's only 20 something right now. She has no kids. She's engaged, like I said, to a man that has 2 kids. Okay. And he says that he recently he became a Christian and he doesn't want to have sexual relations before, they get married now, even though he has 2 kids. But it's like, hey, that's kind of a good thing, that's good. But I don't know. It kind of went from that. And I was like, okay, so things were sounding, there's rocky places here and there. Okay. Every relationship has that, especially almost newlyweds. But, she was like, okay, but I'm currently also seeing someone else, not seeing someone, but she has a friend, you know what I'm saying? And this is where, hope, if she ever sees this, like, she's not mad at me, because it's like, I know who I am. They don't know who I am, but still. But anyway, but it's like, I feel like this has to be said because I never opened my mind to it. I've heard a lot of different stories in my life from a lot of different people, high school, middle school, and obviously at work and whatnot, so on and so forth. But it really put me in a tough spot because I felt like, man, like it started irritating me because of how she valued herself and how she really viewed herself. And it seemed almost like she was okay with putting herself in this situation, which, again, coming to it is, long story short, she's saying this other person was a friend for a long time. They've never been in, they both been in relationships. They've never been able to be together. And now she's engaged and this guy's with somebody else and they hook up every so often. Obviously, from our point of view, this is like a no. That's a no from me. It's that Chris Hemsworth meme from the event. Is it okay?
Is it though?
Is it though? Sorry, but again, like I said, this has to be said on my part because it just kind of did something to me. But
I would like to commend the very fact that she she trusted you enough to even disclose that to you. So I think that's really telling on your part. Like a lot of that's very socially, that's kind of a socially negative thing to do anyway. But to disclose that with somebody, it really shows that you trust them. So big ups to you, though.
Yeah, but again, it's not because of you, or it may. I guess you have your own individual problem, but like this is for everybody else that's also in your shoes or something similar, I suppose. But anyway, so long story short, like I said, she had a friend. They hook up, and she's just like, well, I have feelings for him because my fiance isn't giving me something that I need. And I gave her advice and so on. And I'm not really going to go into detail the things, but it's like I gave her advice from a godly point of view, but I didn't like throw God in her face. I gave it from my knowledge, trying to like communicate it to her the best I could, so that she could understand. But then the more things I said, the more I kind of like, it seemed like I kept correcting her and like showing you over and over and over again that this guy's bad news. This guy doesn't view you in any way good at all. And it's not like I'm shaming him. He has his own problems, and I know that for sure. And, I hope God can change him around and stop him from what he's doing. But it just made me, she kept on coming back to this guy over and over and over, like in the topic, just in the discussion. And every time I kind of like, debunked her and like kind of brought her down, to everyone else's level to see what this guy's doing to you. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like she kept coming back to this person and back to this person. And then started coming to the point where I started getting frustrated. And I was just like, really, as I was talking, I was saying some things like in my head, like, God, like, why would you put someone like this into my life? And it got me thinking, like, man, this would be good for the podcast. Cause like for all Christians, I'm sure there's that one person, like everybody. I have other people at work too that are like, they actually take my knowledge and they apply it at home. And it's like, man, I'm happy. Like I'll see them the next day and they say they do, tried something different. I'm like, great. Like good job. Yeah. And even someone at work is saying that they want to go to church now and they want to, give their life to Christ, or they want to know more about Christ. And I'm like, yeah, here we go. This is what God called me to do. And I'm happy to do that. But then there's that one person. And as a Christian, just as someone who believes in God and like what we're supposed to be doing, it really like frustrated me and made me angry. Cause it's like this person, I kept saying like, well, this man doesn't even like value you, because he pretty much, long story short, again, said that even in that same day, cause she messaged him, he pretty much responded to her feelings of confession for the first time with saying like, we should keep this a weekend hookup thing. And it's like, okay, so at the end of the day, it's like, that's wrong. And you're still okay with it. How can you view yourself so low? How can you value yourself so low? And she was kind of joking around with friends and like, cause I don't know, it was just like, how you can even laugh about this? I don't know. Like, this is your life. Like, you gotta lie.
Is she a Christian?
No, obviously that plays a big.
I was like, man, that's just like, you can like, even just from probably from her point of view, she's like, you're viewing that as in like, that's low of her to participate in those type of relationships. But even in terms of like just taking like our religion out of it, like homeboy is literally telling you what he wants. Mm-hmm. Like he's not trying to like slip it in and be coy about it. Like, oh, I don't know, I don't really know. He's literally telling you exactly what he wants. And she's like, I guess it seems like she's okay with it. And so it's almost like most of the time when you're a Christian, and then when you're dealing with people who are non-Christians, like not the only thing, or at least when you're trying to be biblically not accurate, but biblically consistent with something, you obviously will say, well, it's almost like you don't value yourself when you concede and when you affirm that type of activity. But the point is, and the reason why you were probably getting frustrated about it is because like y'all are like literally living on two different planets. Because it's like, obviously from a Christian point of view, to want to preserve to preserve your body for the person that you are married to and the person that you commit to for the rest of your life. That's what we're supposed to do. But in terms of other people who are not Christians, they're obviously are not going to have that, they're obviously not going to have that aim. And so honestly, for me, if I was put in that situation, I would have been like, look, all I can tell you is that coming from where I come from, as a Christian, you should probably wait. You should probably wait on the person. Wait until marriage. And if a person doesn't wait until marriage, then it's probably not the right person. Not necessarily saying that person doesn't value you or that person doesn't love you. It's just the very fact that we all are coming at this from two different points of view. And so for her, like, the reason why it's kind of like frustrating you is because she ain't on the same wavelength as you. And so it's like, and it gets hard because it's like you trying to be a person's friend, but when it comes to stuff that has a moral implication behind it, like sex, then like you're obviously are going to diverge in terms of point of view. So yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I clearly can understand all this stuff that Ari's saying too, but at the end of the day, like, even sex wise and all that, purity and so on, okay. But it just pinged me. Like, I guess I can really relate to the different planets thing, like what he said, because it's like you understand that this person can't possibly take all of your knowledge, and just dump it into their own brain. Like, you wish they could understand what you know, but I mean, at the end of the day too, but it's like, for Christians in general, like, what are we supposed to do to, like, when we get in that moment where we feel the way we do? Like, it's just like, man, like, why can't this person get it? Is that wrong on our part is it wrong on that part that we, like, get frustrated and, like, because, it gets to that point where, I don't even care no more. Well, go on and do you then. I actually said that. I actually wasn't, like, in a rude way, but I was just like, well, do whatever you want then. Like, why do you... But then she comes back, well, I mean, but then, well, what do you want? Like, but not just for this person. At the end of the day, like, we don't got whole time in the world to be discussing this one person, this one thing. But I guess in all, like, I wanted to talk about relationships in general. But this is based off of what I've heard. And it's like, I've never heard a situation like this. I've heard of a husband on drugs and so on and so forth. And even my own story, Ari's story, so on and so forth. But it just can never really hit you that there's some things worse out there. There's some things that are, really bad. But it's like, to all those people out there in the world, like, how can we, get those people to come to us? Like, how can we help them reach where we're at? Because I'm sure there's other Christians out there that are, frustrated, and they're like, man, like, this person, no matter what I do, I know I got to work on them, but, like, they're not budging for, like, forever. And it's just like, oh, you know what? This person, I know it's not me, but I'm not going to save this person, because this person is just, somebody else has to save him, because I can't. Because I don't know. Is it wrong of us to feel like that?
I mean, would I say it's wrong? I don't think I would say it's wrong. I just think that, like, your intentions are kind of misplaced, because, like, when I'm dealing with someone, especially when I'm dealing with somebody who is a Christian, then that frustration is there, but it's in love. It's in love.
Yeah,
so if a Christian isn't getting some, like, we have a friend, a prior friend, who's a Christian, and he just kind of doesn't get stuff. Like, we had a friend who just doesn't want to go to church. He doesn't think he doesn't think that regular church attendance is necessary at all for the Christian. And it's like, well, we obviously disagree. We disagree, vehemently. I think that's what it is. But the point is that I think it's more so well founded in terms of dealing with brothers and sisters in Christ in the faith, because, like, we are supposed to contend for the faith and to help those who are our brothers and sisters to conform to the scriptures, to conform to the standards of God. But in terms of, like, this is how I kind of approach those. Like, you're approaching people who are not playing for the same team. That's how I see it. Paul clearly says, I don't recall which epistle is in, but he basically says, let the world do what the world do. and I really don't have anything to say about the world. So that's kind of where my convictions lie in terms of dealing with people who are not Christians, or people who are, you can clearly see that they're nominal Christians, meaning that, they're only Christian in name and not Christian in practice, or Christian in belief.
Yeah.
So for me, I just see it like that. I was just like, look, I'll let you be. I'll just let you be, because it's like, at the end of the day, we have different understandings of ethics. We have different understandings of morality. Like for me, like I'm not finna tell a dude, he come up to me and he like, yo man, what would happen if somebody came into my house, and I had to kill him. I was like, as a Christian, I'm a pacifist. And I'm a pacifist because of my Christianity. I'm not finna tell you, and you don't believe in Christian, and you don't subscribe to Christianity, to say like, yo, just do everything you can to get away and protect your family. Just don't commit violence on the intruder. Like, that's what I would say. That's what I would say to a Christian.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that to a person who's outside of the faith. So for me, it's just like, look, you deal with people, and you be those people's genuine friendship. Like even with Jesus, like when in terms of the lady who was caught in the act of adultery.
Yeah.
Like, she clearly wasn't a Christian.
Stoner.
But you don't see him saying, like, he literally tells her, go and sin no more. Like, he's clearly giving her an ethic of a religious ethic about sin. So he's not trying to talk to her outside of his ethic. And so for me, if I'm going to talk to you, I can't talk outside of my ethic. So I'm not finna tell you like, yo, well, maybe it's okay. Like it's impossible for you to speak outside of your ethic. But if the point is that if somebody doesn't subscribe to it, then you pretty much just gotta like wash your hands and shake the dust off your feet and just keep going and love those people, and obviously love those people. But at the end of the day, like, it's almost like you can't really do anything to those. You can't really do anything in those type of situations. So it's almost like just live and let live, in my opinion. And then if that person were to come to faith, then you'd be like, okay, now I can give you the business. So for me,
drop it on you.
After that, like now,
Yeah.
like I would never tell you, because when you weren't a Christian, like you never heard me say, bro, you shouldn't be having sex before marriage. You never heard me say that. Or even when you were smoking weed, I was like, I mean, I don't even think I don't even think smoking weed is sinful necessarily, but getting drunk is. And you did do that, but you never heard me say not to do it. But now I'll tell you straight up not to do it, because you're in the faith and you're a brother in Christ now. So I think it's just a way of conduct that you do when you're in terms of a brother or in terms of some person outside of the faith.
But anyway, yeah, just from what I had heard, it was just, I really wanted my an opinion on that as a Christian, because it was just tough for me. It really was tough to be in that situation and try to understand how I can help a person out. And I don't know, just thought it was bad that I'm feeling frustrated. But I mean, like I already said, wash your hands. Third time's a charm. But but yeah, wash your hands of it and just pray for that person. Hope that they will get it someday. But anyway, moving right along with that, I also heard from work as well. And like I said, I don't know. But anyway, like I said, heard from work. This person that told me these things said that she showed me a video, TikTok video. It's just the new thing nowadays. But this person showed me a TikTok video of a young girl, 10 years old. I'm sorry, I cannot stress this enough. I really can't. In my heart, like, I keep coming back to it. A young girl, okay, 10 years old. She's on her bed in the TikTok video, and she's just what do you call it? Just her face is on. She has the camera pointed to herself, and she's singing a song. And the song is just one of the new generation singers, I guess, Lil Baby or any other popular rappers like Lil Baby. And this little girl was literally singing this song verbatim, and she quoted every single word, and she was doing gestures and all kinds of things, and which I quote a little piece of the song that this little girl was doing just like this. She's like, the song was going and she's singing along and it's just saying, I love it when the girl sucks on me and all the way down to my balls, and like she's doing like this and all the gestures and all that nastiness. And the girl was like, had a straight face. She's singing the song, you know, she's into it, doing her thing, and she's 10 years old. And that is what our generation, that's our generation, our new generation, our kids are in. Like, I don't know if it's the parents' fault. Who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it's when they go to school, they hear things from other bad kids whose parents are acting up, but it doesn't change. None of this stuff changes the fact of, like, our children are hearing this. I have a daughter. He has a daughter. I mean, what are your thoughts on the very fact that our kids are growing up on it, even not in school, you are still involved, family members, I mean, you can't completely abolish all of this from your child. So what are we supposed to do? I mean, what are we supposed to do?
I mean, honestly, man, because like I'm not gonna sit here and act like we have moral high ground, because it's like we grew up on that. We grew up on that. That type of stuff too.
It's just different, though. I mean, maybe it's from a parent point of view now, but I mean,
yeah, it probably is, because I know for a fact that when I was growing up, it's like they haven't gotten any. To me, at least, they haven't gotten any more obscene and vulgar than they haven't been in like the last 20 some years in hip hop. Like, I know some things, like,
yeah,
and specifically in the hip hop that I listen, like listening to Young Jeezy, like, come on now, Young Jeezy, my boy. The amount of times he talked about murdering people, that's just what it is. And then like talking about Lil Wayne, who is the GOAT, not Eminem, and like just hearing a lot of his stuff. Like he's being extremely explicit in his music, and I'm just sitting there. Or it's like, and then like someone like Nicki Minaj, where like she'll say like I'm big titties, big butt too. Mm-hmm. It's like, bro, they've been saying stuff. They've been saying it.
I guess.
It's like, so for me, it's just like I don't really care, because it's like, look, the world is going to be the world, regardless of how we think, regardless of what we see, and I think it's just up to us as Christians to do the best that we possibly can to guide our children, to lead our children, you know, in the way of Christ, and to make sure that they understand that we are of the world. We are in the world, but we're not of the world, and we don't conform to the things that the world does, and that includes like being extremely vulgar and whatever thing you may be. Let's just say music, being extremely vulgar in your music, talking about murdering people in your music. Like that is what the world does, and that's not what Christians do. So for me, I have a resolve to have my children. Like, I'm not gonna hide the very fact that music is out there, because you said, they're gonna listen. Like, it's gonna come to them anyway eventually. And so for me, I'd rather be the person that has fully grounded my child in the faith to the point that they wouldn't even dare go that way. So that's kind of where I am now, because it's just coming from a point of like, yo, eventually it's gonna happen. And my parents were extremely,
I know, dudes.
Yeah, they were extremely guarded about us, about listening to that type of stuff, about watching like of extremely vulgar stuff. Like, they were extremely guarded by it. But bro, I've seen some titties in the past, and I've listened to extremely vulgar music. I'm sorry, guys. But I was like, I've listened to extremely vulgar music, and it was like, there's nothing that they could possibly do, because like once you get out in the world, and once you are being exposed to what the world has, it's like it's inevitable. But so for me, I just rather train up my child, train up Camila in the faith, so it would make it less plausible for her to even adopt that, and make it seem like it's like, and make it seem as if it's like something that's worthy of latching on to.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just that fear of. I mean, I talked about it in I think episode 1 the Failed Kingdoms podcast, but like about dating, like your kids dating, like I'm totally cool with her dating around 15 or 16, you know, at an appropriate age where she does know what's going on and so on. I want her to be taken advantage of ever, but I know there's a lot of things we can't control of either and whatnot, but I'm saying like, okay, like you said, I plan on doing that too, like raising up Bercinda that in the way that I can just trust her, especially when it comes to that time of dating. But I'm saying, okay, before it's even that time, like your kid is showing signs of like latching on, despite what you say to what we're trying to teach them, and it'll be like, okay, let's even say that you had a long discussion like often with your kids about what's right or wrong maybe, and then one day you just come in the room or whatever, and there she is singing a song about going down on a man and like just into it in her room or headphones on, and she's just into it and like, what did I tell you? That will not be cutted, I hope, but
it won't.
Anyway, it won't. I will not do that to my child, but at the same time, man, like, I mean, what are we supposed to do? Like, is that the time where punishment comes into play, or is that the time where, what do we got to do as Christians to like get our kids, make sure they get on that path? I mean, man, I don't know.
Because I mean, maybe we should have like somebody who has a lot more experience in terms of parenting, like. But
mom dudes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but that's the whole point. Like my mom was the most. She wasn't the most guarded person in terms of her children, but it's like look at us now. Like look at us. I mean, I'm not saying that we're in like really horrible places or anything like that. It's just that like no matter how guarded you are, no matter how guarded you will be in terms of your children, like if you don't lock them in a cage in the basement, they're going to be exposed to these kinds of things. It's almost like it's almost like even in terms of like atheism, or in terms of like the whole skeptic community, where you know they're unconvinced of the Christian faith. It's like what do you do? Do you inoculate them into it, and you make sure that they're aware that it's out there, or do you just completely keep them from it? Because it's a possibility that if they were exposed to it, that they would adopt it and they would embrace it. So it's like, for me, like I don't want to keep away. I don't want to keep it away. Like let's just say in terms of like there's this whole entire community of people who are skeptical of Jesus's existence. Do I want to keep Camila away from that all her life, and then when she's like thrown, like cast out there into the world, then she's just experiencing it, and then she finds these people, and she discovers these people, then all of a sudden she wasn't inoculated into it and she wasn't exposed to it before with proper guidance from us? Or do we? So it's like, for me, in terms of like this culture, in terms of unchristian culture, I'd rather inoculate her into it. Just like, look, it's out there.
Yeah,
like your friends are probably gonna like be listening to this. Your cousins might listen to it. Your uncle,
definitely.
Your uncle and your auntie may listen to it. I don't know. Like who knows? I just want you to be aware that it's out there. But I think it's up to us to make Christianity as appealing as possible, to the point that they won't feel like they have to take that where Bree and Cam won't have to feel like they have to won't have to feel like that is the better option. Yeah. So that's kind of where I am now. I mean, obviously we'll have, it's like there really isn't. I don't think there's a really perfect answer for that, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that's the best that I can do right now, because I don't see any way to have them to keep her away from it, and then because obviously I don't want her to be like singing, like she's sucking testicles.
Okay,
I don't want her to be doing
it's
that.
like my wife. Like sometimes she'll listen. She don't listen to that music at all. But like there's those Hispanic songs that come on, and like obviously I don't know what they're saying. I can pick up bits and pieces, but then like as soon as it comes on, and it's like I'm like sometimes I just test her out. I'm like, babe, you know you shouldn't be listening to that, right? And she's like, and then she actually goes along with it. So it's like I was right. Like there is something in the song to where that is provocative or whatever. And then she's just alone. She's just like, oh well, it's just a song. It's just music. You can like a song, if you want. That doesn't mean that I like whatever they're doing and stuff. But yeah. So like even with my wife trying to tell me that it's just a song or whatever. It's just because you listen to a certain song doesn't mean that you're gonna do whatever that person says, or it's just music just to like music. I mean that may be true and all, but it doesn't deny the fact of like you're quoting this person and I don't know. At the end of the day, in my eyes, it just feels a little wrong to me, and like I just would have a problem knowing that the daughter I felt like I can trust like is in here talking about sexual things at age 10. Okay, that's my big point here. Okay, you're even like Ari said, like we came to the point where you can't completely hide it from us, even uncles or whatever. Like, okay, I totally agree with that. I didn't think about that, but truthfully, it is like that. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I just wouldn't want to walk in on my daughter and at that young age, just that young of an age. I guess maybe she wouldn't know what she's saying, but it feels like this new generation, they do understand, because like it's younger and younger that kids are having kids, let's be honest with that, and it's younger and younger that there's children acting like thugs and like they want to be a thug. It's just that mental image is being engraved, and it just feels like their music choice is just helping
like
encourage that.
Like I don't see how that, like, I don't really see that. I mean, obviously it's a problem, but I just don't see that as original to like this upcoming generation. Cause I see it in us too. Like I just think in terms of like that's just been where we are as a society, and specifically as Black people. That's just been what it is. Like my mom would tell you straight up that like when she was coming up, she was indeed listening to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and my grandmother was a religious person, so it's like I just don't see it as a. I mean, obviously it's a problem, but I just don't. Like if we can come up to a point, we can come up to a certain point, and then we are where we are now. It's like, it's almost like it's not. It's almost like I'm kind of convinced that it affects people to a certain extent, but it doesn't really. But in the long run, it doesn't really affect a lot of people. It doesn't really affect you, because like I don't think that people care. Like people really do care about music, but in the same vein, people don't care about music. Mm-hmm. Because people can be like, oh man, yo, this really is like, I really love this song. Like it makes me, it elicits whatever emotion and all this different type of stuff. I just don't think. I just think you put in too much stock into music, into the music, into the culture. Then I would put stock into it, because I know like there's just so much stuff that I grew up on, and I'm so far from that. It's almost like okay, it was fun for what it was.
Yeah.
But I just don't put too much stock into what it is. It's just that. And obviously I don't want my daughter to listen to that on that end. But at the end of the day, I feel like you as a parent, like 9 times out of 10, you as a parent, your influence is gonna be more impactful than the influences that are out there.
Well, honestly, yeah, I think that this was a great topic to discuss. I'm happy that everybody was here or whoever's all joining in.
Not many.
No, hey, honestly, with how long these things are, like we're getting quite a few people in, and I'm one or two of them's me. I watch these things; they're so cool. I mean, I actually had somebody from work said that they watch. So I mean, I'm glad. Hey, that's what I was going for is one person. I mean, obviously we want more to tune in and
way more.
Yeah, it's coming. You guys are gonna like be using these as the previous. What are those called? The recommended videos, and then like it's gonna keep on. So, but anyway, I think that's about it. Yeah. I mean, you want to do the last announcement once again, so we can?
Yeah, August 6th. I'll keep saying it and I'll keep repeating it. Oh yeah, you gotta read his book. Josh Rasmussen's book. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have Kindle?
No.
So he has. Well, you need to get a Kindle.
Yes, sir. Mr. Rasmussen, I'll read
Rasmussen,
it.
sir.
Rasmussen,
his book.
yes.
And the point is, it's not like a textbook. It's not like an academic book. It's actually a novel. So, and I'm on like chapter 3. So I'm just trying to make sure I read it beforehand, and then like when the week of August 6th, I'll go ahead and just reread it to make sure that it's fresh in my mind.
Touch up.
But it's called When Heaven Invades Hell. You guys need to check it out. It's Josh Rasmussen and Rachel Rasmussen. Their book is called, or their novel is called When Heaven Invades Hell. You need to read it because it's very good so far from what I've read. He's gonna be on the podcast August 6th. We don't know. We haven't really worked out the time yet. I haven't talked to him yet, but we haven't worked out the time in terms of like the actual time that we'll actually be streaming and we'll be live. So, but we'll let you guys know. So make sure you stay up on that. And that's really. Oh, also about Brian, he'll be releasing a single tomorrow, right?
Hopefully tomorrow. Yes.
Tomorrow. And what's it called?
Not My Will. It will be released tomorrow, and underneath the Fell Kingdoms name, don't look for some other person. We are Fell Kingdoms. Mm-hmm. Repeat that again. We are Fell Kingdoms. So as for the people that were looking for that, who's the other person? That's me. But anyway, like I said, it's going to be, we mentioned before in the other shows, we are doing a lot of singles right now, but we are working towards a joint track. Obviously, we need more of those since we are we. But yeah, right now I'm starting to get back out there. So look forward to Not My Will, and we'll be releasing a little more artwork here and there, or the artwork for it. But anyway, yeah, but be on the lookout for that tomorrow, and we will, or Saturday. Just go ahead and say the day, because whenever this gets out, But yeah, other than that, I think that was a pretty good episode. I mean, just wanted to touch bases on a lot of things that, I don't know, it just felt like it was, I don't know, more everyday life-ish, I guess. I mean, not that the other stuff wasn't, but it was just like something that actually hit me, and it made me have questions in the moment as to pretending my faith and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I'm glad you guys tuned in this time. I mean, Ari?
Yeah, so next episode, I actually want to do something different. Instead of doing these long form talk podcasts, I actually want to do a movie review. So okay. I want us to actually do it on Artemis Fowl. So you don't have Disney Plus, do you?
I got Disney Plus.
Okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll figure out a day next week. We'll probably come over. We'll just watch it, and then after that we'll do an episode, and we'll actually maybe we can try to get my Big O to do it with us. I don't know. I mean, because it'll be fun. So we'll next time on I guess we'll call it a podcast, but it's not going to be. I guess it's not going to be like an hour, 45-minute podcast.
You guys can relax. This is your time, your downtime to catch up on the other episodes.
Yeah. So the next one we'll do because I heard it was trash. I heard it was absolute trash. So
are you making me watch it?
I don't know if it's trash or not. I mean, it looks trash, but who knows? Maybe you'll think it's good. Maybe I'll think it's bad. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
So
that's
next,
the point.
Yeah. So next week we'll do a movie review on Artemis Fowl, because I know for a fact I love the books. Have you read the books?
No.
They came out around the time Lord of the Rings.
Dang, that's a wow.
The Hunger Games. No, well, yeah, the books, but they were popular around that time.
Okay.
They were those that was a part of the whole teen book popularity thing that happened in the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Okay.
And so I read them. I read them in middle school. So I just want to see if they did the books any justice, and I'm pretty sure they did.
Season, or is it?
No, it's an actual movie.
A movie.
Disney just released it. They couldn't release it in the theaters because COVID, but
obviously.
So they released it on Disney Plus. So the full movie is on Disney Plus. I will admit I watched like 10 minutes of it. I really couldn't. I was too preoccupied with like eating, but so I really didn't see it. But so next week we'll come. We'll order some. No popcorn.
Okay.
Order like pizza or whatnot, and we'll see what this whole Artemis Fowl movie is about.
I ain't
And
gonna lie to you.
we'll do a review.
I ain't gonna lie. It'll get serious when we start talking about Marvel movies.
Oh,
then
yeah.
that's gonna be a whole. Will be that. Tune in for those podcast. Those will be podcasts because those will be a good 2 to 3 hour long.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Marvel. Come on. Now.
Like we won't even have enough battery. We won't even have enough battery for the cameras. It's all good
Come
though.
on now. But
3 hours.
But hey, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm down. So next week, look forward to it.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining in on the third podcast of the Fell Kingdoms podcast. We'll see you next week, and be sure to make sure you tune in to the next one where we will be reviewing the movie Artemis Fowl from Disney.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, y'all.